Good morning, students. It is Mrs. Donahue, and I had to take a minute before classes started to just react to the big news that I guess broke over the last couple of days. But I have two small children, so I don't always hear the news at the right times. Confirmed. So we have already previously heard that Jamie Foxx's Electro was confirmed. Pretty cool. Obviously, Tom Holland's in. Also pretty cool. I don't know if you guys saw the animated feature Into the Spiderverse, but we'll come back to that in a minute. They just confirmed Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. They're going to make a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. Now, what? There's going to be live-action Spiderverse. This, 100% confirms what many people have been speculating on for months now, and I'm 2,000% certain that Kevin Feige is incredibly upset that he didn't have Comic-Con this year to drop some of these atomic bombs on us. His previous Comic-Con appearance was a little underwhelming, and the man apparently, according to like anecdotes from people who work with him, really enjoys surprising both the people he works with and in general the fans. So I'm very sure that he's disappointed about Comic-Con. Maybe they should consider doing like a fan thing like DC did. But what does this even mean? It means right now you have the conundrum of several Mary Janes. What do you do in those plot lines? In the Andrew Garfield plot, they went with the death of Mary Jane. They didn't go so much in that route, Spider-Man, unless I really misremember Spider-Man 3. They didn't kill off Mary Jane. You do have Venom in two different universes, so that'll be fun. Venomverse. You have Green Goblin in the Tobey Maguires. You didn't have necessarily the same set of villains in the Andrew Garfields or the Tom Hollands. But between them, you have the Sinister Six. And it's long been rumored that there was going to be a Sinister Six movie coming out of Sony. Because think of Sony. The only valuable thing they have left is Spider-Man. And the only way it's valuable is when Marvel plays with it. And when they made their own Venom movie, it was decent. But it lacked the oomph of having, like, Spider-Man. It lacked what you wanted from Venom. The idea that we could have Carnage, that we could have a lot of other good properties being worked through the Marvel magic is exhilarating. Honestly, who would have thought we'd live to see live-action Spider-Verse? To even see it in the animated Into the Spider-Verse was pretty cool, because no one really thought that it was going to do well. One of the big things about it is you basically we're going to get Miles Morales, which Tom Holland, the spoiler king of Marvel, I'm pretty sure they don't even tell him what he's doing anymore because he just blurps it out. Tom Holland basically said that they were already considering putting him into the Spider-Verse, but then they pulled back on that, probably because they anticipated doing this. So that means we're getting Miles Morales, which is awesome. Potentially that means we deal with the Prowler Miles Morales inclusion that's already been in the MCU. But also, I'm here for Spider-Gwen. I don't mean to come off as the girl who needs girl superheroes, but we haven't seen something like her, and in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, she was compelling. I couldn't tell you of a Spider-Man who wasn't compelling in Into the Spider-Verse, because it was amazing. But I really liked her. And I thought that it would be cool and different. The Spider-Gwen costume, the kind of ballerina hoodie element, I think they could do cool things with that. Plus, we leave open some interesting casting choices here, right? We already have MJ, who's not Mary Jane, but is totally Mary Jane. But she doesn't fit the dynamic of your typical, I wouldn't say that they're going to go Spider-Gwen with Spider-MJ. Maybe, but it doesn't seem like they will. But that means you get Gwen Stacy in the MCU. Very excited. And I think I said earlier that Mary Jane died in the the Andrew Garfields. But the Andrew Garfield, the love interest, might have been Gwen Stacy. But at any rate, we killed off a love interest there. We've killed Uncle Ben a couple times. And, the Tom Holland verse has not done any of those things. We haven't gone after Mary Jane, although we did just unveil Peter Parker. And sometimes those two things go hand in hand. The unveiling of Peter Parker and the death of, Mary Jane collide. We already had Civil War. So I don't know how you redo the unveiling plot line of that, because usually in Civil War there was this greater mutant registration unveiling of the superheroes and stuff act going on. But kids, we have Into the Spiderverse coming. We have live action Spiderverse. Tobey Maguire's going to put the suit back on. And according to, the rumors, they're not going to try to age him down. They're just going to do old man Peter Parker. In Into the Spider-Verse, they did old man Peter Parker, and they did the death of Peter Parker, and then there was a live and a dead Peter Parker, and there was a lot of interesting things going on. I am hoping they pretty much take that blueprint and run with it. As class is starting soon, I should probably go. But in all likelihood, something else really cool will break. Right now, my eye is on the Keanu Reeves ball. They have just been saying that name far too much, just saying it and saying it and saying it. It's going to mean something eventually. The same thing with John Krasinski. There's going to be a casting announcement with John Krasinski, I imagine with Emily Blunt, and I imagine with Keanu Reeves. But if they're doing Into the Spider-Verse, I leave you on this thought. They are 10,000% doing X-Men, and there is every chance that you get a Wolverine cameo by Hugh Jackman, because it would be a hat tip, hey, in that universe, hat tip. They survived. You could theoretically separate Logan from some of the other movies and say that they had distinct timelines. They were in parallel universes where the same people existed, but in different ways. Because that's going to be the thing. When you cross over in different dimensions and parallel universes, sometimes Wolverine will still look like Hugh Jackman, and sometimes he won't. They're definitely going to recast because they're going to need more time out of the characters. So the same thing with Professor X, they're going to recast. Patrick Stewart's not immortal. And if we develop immortality, we give it to him first. But he and Ian McKellen are getting too old to do serial action movies. But I think you tip the hat. I think you go there, especially because there's a lot of fun elements to the different X-Men castings and what they've done, like the fact that they did Bolivar Trask and they did, Days of the Future Past and things. There's a lot of fun in that. There just wasn't a lot of good movie making. So I would love for Kevin Feige to basically just cherry pick off the top, recast, re-roll, and show them how it's done. From everything we've currently heard, it looks like at least at the very start, we're going to be getting Psylocke, Storm. Namor's not a mutant, but we're definitely getting Namor soon. We're definitely, I would say, getting Wolverine, and I would think in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's just been a lot of hard winks at it. I would imagine, given Scarlet Witch is still here, the reveal of Magneto comes. I don't think you get Magneto without getting Professor X. They go hand in hand. So I would imagine that we're starting at least there. And I think having, Rogue, I would imagine that Gambit, having not been done well and not been done frequently, there's a lot of meat on that bone for Kevin Feige to go all right, let's do Gambit. Let's do Jubilee. Let's do the characters that haven't really had a lot of time in other variations of the X-Men. I don't know why you wouldn't, so that'd be cool. I hope Bishop comes. I hold a pet theory that we could do something really cool with the multiverse with Hope Summers. It gets you Cable, it gets you time travel, it gets you cool, powerful mutants jumping around. It also nods to Jean Grey and Phoenix and Scott Summers, but it doesn't require them. I think Phoenix has been done to death. I kind of hope they avoid it, but in Feige we trust. All right. See you guys later.